Welcome! I am going to do a bit of how to play Endless Space. I'm going to put together a couple of instructional videos. I found Endless Space a lot of fun, but in some ways it can be really difficult to get started. I had a couple of friends who struggled a bit at first, but once I sort of told them some of the strategies that I was using, it made their game improve dramatically. Now, this may not be the strategy, the best strategy in the game, because I've still lost occasionally, but I think it'll be more than enough for you to get all of the beginning bits down. So we're going to start up a game as the Sophon. Sophon are my favorite race. I always like to do a lot of research whenever I play games like this. So, I'm going to skip the little introduction, which is pretty, but we need to move on. First thing I'm going to cover in this video is how to colonize effectively. For the purposes of this, I'm just going to throw in a couple of research things just so I can get it out of the way and the computer won't yell at me. Come on. Now, I'm also going to put just some stuff in here and here. And I'm going to ignore the rest of that just so I can get started. I'll set this guy to auto explore. I'll set this other guy to auto explore as well. Okay, so one of the first things I want to point out is all of these little stars here. These indicate unexplored star systems. Each one has a little discovery that occurs. They can range in things from giving you this little bonus of 20 points of science for one turn to giving you space pirates or giving you entire colony ships. This over here indicates that we've discovered a wonder. Wonders are a little new to Endless Space. They hadn't been in previous versions. The Rings of Brulia give huge bonuses on heroes and on starship construction. It's really quite beautiful. They have some great effects from the new wonders. But what we're really here for is colony prep. So one of the most important and potentially underlooked issues that will plague your empire like nothing else in this game is approval rating. In your home star system, unless you have a race that is particularly happy, it's generally going to start out about 50%. Your home star system is going to struggle a lot throughout the course of the game. Now, approval gives you some pretty decent bonuses, and not having approval gives you some very significant negatives. So the sort of things that we're looking for, let's look at some of these star systems. Ancient Ruins, no. Eon Belt, right here, this EM radiation, -10 to happiness on a planet. That's going to make even a Terran planet as bad as an Arctic or a desert planet. So those are things that we're trying to avoid. We want more happiness. Metallic Waters gives +10, and the Tiny Tundra only takes away +5. So this Tiny Tundra right here is a pretty optimal location. Once we get a foothold, and some other technology down the way, we can start settling out into some of these other things. Although irradiated, because it gives -20, a very significant negative, it's probably going to be the last thing colonized in this star system. And we'll continue movement. Let's see. Now, note that this has a -10, and the large desert itself gives a -10, so a total of -20. Transvine actually gives a bonus of +40. You got to watch out for all of these luxury resources and have a sense of what they do, and just mousing over will tell you that. Oh, and here's another example of some discoveries. Later in the game, as you discover the technology that allows you to use Transvine, this star system can actually be useful, and you can settle there and pick up some of that. I mean, there's some Transvine in the home star system as well, not on anything particularly useful planet-wise, but having these three sources right here gives you close to a monopoly. Monopolies give you a special bonus dependent on luxury. Every luxury is different. In this particular case, you get a bonus to ship experience on an empire. So I'm exploring through, and I think this is going to be the end of my arm. So out here, dense atmosphere, nothing special. Ancient Ruins, we already saw that, just give me bonuses. This is not a particularly good start for me. Irradiated is worse. So I'm going to hope that this last star system... Oh, I must have gained a bonus protector from one of these. Science, yeah, new defense ship. Those are now super helpful because they actually allow you to sort of take on, or these guys here, allow you to take on space pirates if you can find them. They're usually something that you can throw into a fleet that you've already created that may not be that technologically advanced to take them on. But space pirates is another video, so we're going to keep moving. Okay, so this small Terran, it has a void stone, but we won't be able to access that until much later in the game. The molten core on this small desert planet, if anyone pops up for it, is useful, as is the microfactors, which also gives a bonus. Desert is a bit far down the technology train, so you probably want to start at the small Terran. And when you settle the star system, you can actually settle other stars in the star system. There's a menu that pops up over here, and you can colonize them if you have the right technology at the expense of a single population. Oops. Yeah, see, missing technology. Normally there's a populate button here if you have the technology in the population. And that way you don't have to build colony ships. It takes much less time than colony ships too, which I think is extraordinarily important. I'll just put him on idle. What's in the star system? That is interesting. Small Terran, an excellent choice. These other planets are quite good. This would be a very good economic star system. You can see that there is some dust here. But what is this tree of worlds? Oh my. This is going to be definitely the target out of all the star systems I've discovered so far. Getting this small Terran underway gives a little bit of titanium, which, but it's also going to give us access to that tree of worlds, and it's going to make this star system absolutely unstoppable, especially with the bonus to food on everything on this star system, because it means we're going to have some insane population growth out there. So now we have the star system. The deserted cities is great, but it gives no bonus, so I'd probably go for this low gravity on the tiny arid. And I can actually set up which one of these goes faster. Yeah, set him to auto explore. So bonus experience, blah blah blah. Move this along. Okay, Quadus has... Ooh, this is excellent. So a small jungle, which gives no negatives to approval, along with robot locals, makes this a really appealing choice. Much later in the game, there's also the potential to make jungle planets produce a lot of industry. So that's a particularly useful trait. Ancient ruins, again, is not particularly helpful. And heavy barren, or these barren planets can't be colonized until much later. Just have one more. I think that's probably the last one in this particular constellation. Yes. So, Cyberflora, I know off the bat, is a bonus, and this is only a 10 negative, so you're getting a net bonus out of that. It's a little bit far down the tech tree to get Arctic, but it's, you know, not far off. That's going to be early mid-game, I would say. And then the rest of this star system, like the irradiated planet, that's... and so is this hostile fauna. Both of those are really going to kill approval ratings. So that is basically how you're going to be selecting these things. It's important, once you do select a star system, to try to get its population up as much as possible. So for example, on this Terran world, I was able to use evolved soils as planetary exploitation to dramatically increase the food. You can see up here under population that the birth rate is about 20%, which is not terrible. I mean, for a single world, that's fine, I suppose. But ultimately, the more food I'm getting out of this, the better, and the more population I'm getting out of this, the more food I get, etc., etc. Because everything in this game, just mousing over this, for example, oops, gives a bonus of 10 points, period, but then per person bonuses on every single planet. And you note, it says arid, there's an arid right here. It says tundra, there's a tundra right here. So, I mean, these population bonuses are really not insignificant. It is also worthwhile to note that some planets have a moon. And if you colonize a star system with the moon, later on there's some technology that allows you to explore the moon. More often than not, you're not going to find anything. But when you do find something, it's usually a decent-sized bonus, like 10%, so not bad. There are also a lot of technologies that are related to having an explored moon. It gives you a variety of different bonuses. But for now, we've explored all of these star systems, and I think that Fajis is the best, the small Terran one with the large lava world. So, I mean, from that point, there's just a variety of other worlds out here that are begging to be explored and exploited. This was another pretty good choice. So that's going to be how you select your colonies, and you're going to be expanding from that point. It is important to get as many of them as you can. Eventually, this entire arm, even via Creus, is probably going to be colonized. I mean, it is only a single planet, which normally I sort of poo-poo. But in the interest of taking care of that, or having population there is going to only add to the empire, not subtract from it. So I have to say, having two different natural wonders in my arm of the galaxy is pretty impressive. So that's going to be how you colonize things, and how to select what to colonize. Expand, 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 and make sure you're working on the technology to mitigate that expansion disapproval. So I can actually show you a little list of approval here. Bonus from the Empire. When you fill up a planet, you'll get a small negative for overpopulation, but you get it for each planet that's filled throughout the entire star system. You can get disapproval from overpopulation, and you can get a lot of disapproval from planet types. Generally speaking, the higher disapproval that you get from a planet type, the much further down the tech tree it is, because at that point you should be researching the technology to mitigate it. So that's going to be it for this video. Up next, I am going to be discussing victory conditions.